Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and here we go. Let's get right into it. Oh, hand update. Hands are in better shape than the last time I made anything, which would have been yesterday, so things are looking up. Today I decided I will show you not the full contents here, but just kind of how I have my my little bin. This is just a little Sterilite bin set up. Basically my main things I keep at the top, things that I use every time. You probably have seen this 1,000 times. If you've seen my videos, longtime viewers will know. This is my favorite tool, a cheap plastic little stick. So we will use that. These are my foils. I take them out of the box because it takes up too much space. And then I'll start my session with about how many rats I want to craft. Today I'm going to go for 3. And so I'll set those there. Sorry for the noise. I have a scale I've never used, and this is basically if you want to get everything exactly the right size, you would just scale everything up. My bags of clay. My fang collection, my whisker collection. Oh no, I'm sorry, this is just an empty bag. It looks like this is my fangs. Here's my whiskers, been quite a while doing that. And then these are unopened clays I haven't tried yet. Guess I could take them out of here. Got a Sculpey Bake Shop and a Oven Bake Art Elements. I think maybe we'll use this one today for maybe work on a naked rat. These are brushes. Something got ruined in here. Something has been making a mess in here, and I couldn't tell you what it was, but everything is a little bit sticky, like something, I don't know, I can't tell you. So that's pretty much it. These tools have pretty much gotten the short end of the stick. They don't really get used. But they were all fairly cheap tools, so I'm not really missing anything. This one I think I might do a little more research on before I get into it. I've seen people with some pretty good techniques. Now I'm debating because I kind of really want to make a... I'm trying to think of how I would do the skin if I were to do... You see, I'm kind of just always flying by the seat of my pants. I have no idea what I'm doing when I get my stuff together and get ready. I'll tell you what, for now I will do a couple just plain white ones, plain white rats, and then we will decide what we're going to do with this. No, you know what, we got it out. We're going to have to use it. So, I guess today we're making a naked rat. Hopefully 2, if I can get enough out of this little tiny package. And we will make 2. So let's just do this. We'll split it in half. We'll take most of this one. And then I will grab one of my foils. See, the foils are all, they're just willy-nilly, squeeze them together. Don't ever need to go too crazy with any of this. You can kind of just, you can find your rat in whatever foil you got. Doesn't have to be perfect. You don't even have to look at it while you're doing it. You can just kind of get a feel. Just get it kind of ball shaped, and it'll do just fine. I was thinking maybe of starting to do rats with full bodies, so I would start building armatures, but I'm not there yet. I think I'm just going to keep working what I'm doing, but just know that may or may not be something coming soon. I'm kind of just working this clay a little bit. Since I'm not sure if we're going to have enough, I could, and I think I might, we're going to put my clay bag. I could hit this with just a little smidge of extra clay. Just a little tiny bit of little tiny bit of white clay, just to kind of buffer that size, and that won't be too much of an issue. So basically, now what I would do is just take these two colors and kind of blend them together. Just keep going until you get where you're looking to be. I have seen people kind of use like pastel bits, like if you kind of take some pastel and shave a little bit off, not an oil pastel, the soft pastels, and you would just shave a little bit off and make kind of realistic skin tones. I think I might just do, if anything, which I probably won't do anything, but if I do anything, I might just come back and do some acrylic washes very lightly and see if we can get any kind of realistic facial features. And there's this guy that I saw a documentary on. I'll say his name was John something. He's a New York City sculptor. Makes little realistic faces, and he had this thing called something juice, and it was just, you know, red acrylic ink or paint watered down maybe, and he was spraying it onto his pieces, and that looked like in something like this, and that looked like it might work. So maybe if I can find that documentary, I will do that. Anyway, for now, I think we got a pretty good color. I'm gonna make a naked rat, and so first things first, I'm gonna save a little bit of clay. I'm gonna find your rat. So how quick can you find your rat? Quick as it takes, or as long as it takes. I already found two possible rats. One, two. You can do them this. You can do them tall. You can do them short. I think this might be a tall rat. I think I might make this one a tall rat here. So maybe like this. So just find your rat, commit, make your first pass here with the clay. You don't want to overdo your first pass. You don't want to overwork your clay. This is something I'm constantly blabbing about. If you've seen my videos, you already know this is a point of contention for me, is when people overwork the clay. You don't want to underwork it. There is a fine balance, and it is admittedly a tough balance to find if you're new to clay, but just keep working at it. And I'm pretty new myself, other than, you know, as far as other than rats. I've been doing rats for quite some time, but I am new to faces and things like that. So just take your time and you'll get to where you gotta be. So, like I said, I just want to get the shape kind of rounded out. Fully covered. You want full coverage. You don't want any exposed bits or blobs here. And then from there, we will begin finding the rat's features, which many times you hear me say in these videos, oh, I see, you can tell that this rat, etc., whatever. And you can, if you pay close enough attention to your rat. The unique beauty of each rat will present itself, and the option is yours if you want to pursue the unique beauty of each rat. Sometimes the rat will present as a fat rat. This rat is presenting as kind of a skinnier rat, but kind of like a skinny, fat looking rat, I guess. So what I'm going to do, excuse me, making sure I'm not, I'm going to give this rat a double chin right off the bat. We want that. Very important in this skinny, fat rat. And I kind of started making my rat faces a little bit humanoid, and I think I mentioned this. I had a kind of a meltdown in a couple of videos ago, I guess, where I was just really peeved with how people were perceiving my rats as symbols of hatred, whatever. So where was I going? Because I could feel myself getting peeved again. Oh, right. I kind of make my rats just however they appear to be as I'm making them. They're not intended to be anything. But some people take stuff too seriously. They're misinformed. They misunderstand the world around them. I know that it's been, thankfully, quite a while since I've gotten too many paranormal complaints about the rats. Everyone remembers. Long-time viewers will remember. Over the years, I've just received innumerable reports of paranormal happenings after people have purchased the rats, as far as their life falling apart, their life's in the gutter because of the rat. Just all types of nonsense. Anyone who knows my rats knows that that's not what these rats are here for. That's not what they are. They're not anything but rats. And this is a constant speech that I gotta fight. But sometimes you do have to fight for the things you believe in and the things you love. And these rats are pretty much all I have sometimes, so I will fight to the bitter end to defend my rats. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and give this little guy some cheeks. Don't want to go too crazy, but we'll give him a little bit of a I think I am at some point going to start getting into kind of more realistic rats. But for now, I'm going to stick to my typical style that I've kind of developed over the years. I'm proud of the work I do put out. I work hard on my rats. And I think a lot of people can tell that I am very sincere about my rats and very committed to improving the world view and world relations. I'm kind of a rat ambassador. I've been called that before, actually, believe it or not, kind of a rat ambassador. So yeah, everyone knows something I always say in my videos is, well, recently I started saying this, kind of just make your rats. So whatever your rats are, whatever's going on in the world, just do, so your rats may not be rats, is what I mean to say. Make your rats to you might mean, if you're an author, work on your books. If you're a singer, work on your singing. If you're a writer, painter. Even if you're not even into the arts, just anything in your life, just make your rats and kind of be happy while you are doing that, while you're making your rats and making your way through the world. Just kind of appreciate your rats, appreciate your time, and anyway, I don't know, I'm not trying to preach here, but I have been called a rat ambassador, and that got me kind of on a tangent. But yeah, working to improve relations between the humans and the rats has been not really a lifelong mission, but since I've gotten into the more I've gotten into the rat world, the more I realize that a lot of times rats do get the short end of the stick. Perfect example, look at the bubonic plague. The rats weren't the cause of the plague. The rats, sure, they had fleas and things, etc., but the rats were not the ones who brought this about, the plague. They were transmitters, and I won't argue that, but I don't know if you know this, but common colds, COVID, things like that, they can be transferred to rats from humans, from us. And nary do we see a rat kind of blaming a human, but on the contrary, we do see quite too often the other way around. The rats are being blamed. There's too many rats in this city. Do you know New York City has something like 1 billion rats? It's like triple the Earth's population in rats in New York City. And for now, imagine if there were that many people, the chaos that would ensue. So you gotta take everything with a grain of salt here. It's not the end of the world that that the rats are there. It's imagine if they weren't there, how the city would be, the shape the city would be in. It would be Arkham. It would descend into madness, and that's because there would be garbage everywhere that people, the rats aren't. Oh, the rats are gone. Who's going to pick up the garbage, etc., etc. You get my point. I'm just saying, take a little better care of your rats, and I guess there I go again with my a little overzealous with the speaking about the rats. I don't mean to offend anybody. If you're not a rat person, that's okay. Just, kindly turn the video off, and I wish you no ill will, but I am here for the rats, just like they were here for me. I was brutally attacked by humans throughout my life, just verbally beat, and the rats were always there for me. So yeah, I know I'm not the only one. Okay, so now what you see, I'm kind of shaping what you may have thought was the lips here, because I did end up kind of making this rat a little bit fatter than I thought. This bottom piece here is actually the chin. So all of this that you're seeing here is not actually the chin. This is the lips here. So now what I'll do is I'll just kind of make the lips. For those who are new to this, I make my rat lips just by making a little tiny lump of clay. I add it to the creature, and I kind of just go in between the middle, push it out a little bit like this, and then you got your rat lips just like that. No big deal. Now what you could do, what I like to do, is go back and just kind of push them up a little bit. You can push them down a little bit. You can reshape them however you want. I think that's pretty good. This is going to be more of a stoic rat, it actually seems like, which I didn't realize. Then when I'm sorry, have you ever had long hair and it just keeps falling onto your face, and it's really brutal? That's what I'm going through here. So what I'm doing now is I'm making the nose. I just take a ball of clay, and you can make your nose as thick, as thin, as long, as short as you want, whatever you want to do. It's your rat, it's your nose. So just go ahead and make whatever you want. I make a little cone. I add the cone to the face, and then you can work the shapes from there. I think this one is going to be kind of blobby like that. I kind of want this one to be a little blobbed up. So I will add the nose to my rat. This is the toughest part here, because as you see, we already formed the lips. So now what we run into is the issue of how do we form this to the face without damaging the lips. And the problem I run into usually is just my tool is not really built for making perfect lines. So luckily this time I actually got away with it pretty good. So I'll just kind of form this up. Kind of got a little fat finger looking nose there. I kind of like that. I said finger looking, not finger licking. I think we'll give it kind of a, there we go, kind of like that. Now, this is the part that is one of the most important parts of rat craft, and it is the eyes. So what I'm going to do, I think this rat might have 2 decent sized eyes. Or maybe they're smaller. I'm going to go ahead and actually just make sure that nose is cleanly formed. Make sure everything is in shape the way you want. I like to do a smooth, rough, kind of a rough once over with the finger, just to make sure everything is kind of smoothed out. You don't want it to be too harsh. You don't want your lines to be too harsh. Now on the nose, that's a stylistic choice. That's a different thing. Okay, and I think these eyes are going to be, yeah, pretty big. So I'll take my rat and I'll add the eyes. And the eyes are something that are going to take time. If you're new, it's not going to be something that you just right off the bat you're making perfect eyes. And as you see, I don't really, to this day, still I don't make perfect eyes. But you do the best you can. And yeah, you kind of just go with the flow. So you see this one's a little bit misshapen already. So say you wanted to reshape one of these eyes, you have a couple options here. This one I want it to be more sideways, I think. So you can just kind of get in there, push it around, which is usually the way I do it. Just kind of push it around, get it to where you want it. You can work this one back now. You can refill the eye if you want. I don't think I'll need to do that on this rat, but you can refill the eye with clay, and you can go from there. I am going to go ahead and fix these double chins very slightly, kind of bring those back into play. I do want it to be, like I said, kind of a fat, a skinny kind of fat at the same time kind of deal with this rat. And then I will soften that up. And I do have a feeling that people might appreciate this naked rat for some reason more than the regular rats. People are a lot of times predictable and a lot of times the most unpredictable creatures. When it comes to rats, you can pretty much tell what they're thinking. When it comes to people, you can make a pretty close guess, but a lot of times you can't get it exactly right. And I think we're going to give this one little ears here. Don't want to go overboard because it is a smaller rat. So ears, I would say ears, eyes, nose are kind of the mainstays of where people run into their rat issues. Those are kind of the big 3. So really not as complicated as you may think. Find the ear location. Place the ear. You do not want to overdo this part. So when you make your ear, make a ball of clay, push the ear down. You want it to be kind of thick because you're still going to need to push this back a little bit. Don't take too long on this part here. Find your ear location, okay? Lock it in. So see, this one I might need to go a little further up. That looks pretty good. Lock it in. That's that easy. You don't want to overdo it. You don't want to overthink it. That's my main thing with this. You do not want to overthink any of this stuff. And you see it came out pretty good just from quickly doing it. Now I have recently begun signing my rats because you know, I do want, I am proud of my rats, and I want to be, it's like when you adopt out a child, I guess, you want, well, no, I guess it's not. What it is it's like, you want to be a part of that child, that rat, if you will's life, in some small way. So I do want, as this rat moves through the world, wherever it goes to its next home, I do want some sort of indication that I was there to be some small part of its existence. So we will put E.C. for Edward Corey, and we will put that rat in the oven and come back when it is time to finish up this rat. Okay, I am back to put the whiskers in this rat. We're going to take our whisker maker, whatever your whisker maker is, go straight through the nose for your first whisker, and you've now created your first 2 whiskers technically. So we will hollow out that side, one under and one slightly above. Make kind of a triangle here. So one under and slightly above. And I think those are not perfect, but pretty good, I would say. I'm just going to press them up a little bit. And I wanted to add the eyes really quickly to this rat before we bake. I'm wondering if I should have did white eyes for this rat, but I think I'm happy with what we got here. Okay, so I will bake this rat and I will be back. Thank you for staying with me. Okay, so I had mentioned that there was this gentleman that I'd been watching his videos, and he had something in this style jar called freckle juice, and I want to just see if I can kind of duplicate, not obviously going to get exactly the same thing. I think he might have used soft pastel in his, but I think I'm just going to try and see if we can get kind of something even mildly similar. It would be amazing. I'll just try it on myself here. So now nothing at all coming out of that. I think I do. I think I am going to need possibly to use my if I could find my pastels. I know I have a set of them somewhere. I don't really like pastels, so I never really use them. But all I want to do is get. Okay, so there's, you see, kind of reminiscent freckles going on there. Okay, so what I'm going to do before I bake my rats today, I got these 2 for the day, but I'm going to take this one. I'm going to take the eyes out. Oh, and I accidentally touched the head there with the eye mixture. That was a mistake. Let's see if I can clean it up. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put these to the side. And I'm just going to soak this rat down. Let me get, oh, I apologize for that. Let me get my brushes. If you don't know, I've spent more time painting than I have sculpting. And I think I have a good brush for this. This is actually my favorite brush, believe it or not. So what I'm going to do is just, and I don't know, I've never done this before, but I think I just need to kind of spray it down. And then I know I can kind of wipe off, you know, most of this stuff here that I don't want. You don't want all of this, you just want it to be kind of gently marked up. You don't want it to be kind of I'm just kind of patting it dry here in the spots that I don't want anything. And I think it is kind of working. I think I may need to adjust this recipe a little bit. Let's see. Here's my tool. So far, for the very first try at something like this, I'm not too upset. That's how it's looking. I'm going to separate my lips one more time here. And then I think what I'm going to do is kind of soak down this brush. And guys, you can do whatever you want to do as part of the main amazing thing about rats and sculptures is you can kind of make them however you want to make them. So they don't have to be perfect. You can kind of just be like that. And I think for this rat, I think that's pretty good. So what I'll do, I'll pop the eyes back into this rat. One at a time here. Try to identify which eye is which. This is, oh! This is definitely this eye right here, as far as I can tell. This is this eye here. So you see it's a little bit kind of more realistic looking rat. And we will put that in there and let that go to the oven. Okay, so I am back, and I just did it again with the okay. I can't stop saying okay. It's something I'm actively trying to stop doing. Every time I come back from an intro, or I'm sorry, a transition point in the video, I say okay. I don't like it. I think it's very cheap to just repeat myself over and over. So anyway, I am back with this rat fresh out of the oven, and we're going to drop some whiskers in this bad boy. I think this rat is coming out much better than I had anticipated. This is the first rat with the freckle clone juice kind of deal. I think it came out better than I expected, although there are a couple little lessons I think I learned along the way that will help me next time I go to do the freckles. For example, I think I would do probably an acrylic wash. I am saying wash, not gouache. So yeah, I would probably start the whole rat with an acrylic wash. Sorry, I can't speak anymore. You know, it's getting late in the night. Don't tell me I only took 4 whiskers out. I don't know what I'm doing today. Gotta get a grip. I didn't take nearly enough whiskers out for this job. I'll tell you what it is. I'm unfortunately so used to making cats right now. That I've got cats on the brain. I could have swore I took 6 whiskers out though. I don't know what happened there. I'm not paying attention. So anyway, I like the way that this is coming out, but I think I would change my colors. I think I would maybe do a light acrylic wash in a different color before I even started with the whiskers next time. And I think that would be a nice effect. I am happy with the way the lips turned out, so I don't have to go in there and paint the lips. We kind of have that job done for us ahead of time. So that is a little benefit there of how I did this. That's going to be a little too much glue, I think. Need a thin strip for this one. I'm trying to get better with my glue placement, so I'm not leaving any glue outside of the nose. Now I was thinking I might come back with some UV resin on a couple of these recent rats. And if I do, this will probably be one of the candidates. Because I do think the UV resin would look good on this style of eye. I'm not going to go too far overboard with this rat. Just doing my basic normal stuff I do here. Okay. Again, it's like one of those things where you know you gotta do it, but you just never, then it just kind of works out when I'm trying to think of a good example. But I know I gotta get new scissors, and then I end up never doing it. Okay, so there's that rat from the sides and from the front. I think I'm gonna really quickly, there's this very slight piece of skin colored eye right here. I think I'm gonna lightly kind of, I don't want to go overboard, but I don't want it to be fully the wrong color either. Okay. So that is our first naked rat. Thank you for sticking around. If you have, stay a little longer and I will put some pictures up of this bad boy. And he will be up for adoption if he's not already adopted by the time you see this at the link down below. I hate to see him go, but it does give me the ability to purchase more clay and make more rats. So thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.